Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are really getting into the weeds on something huge, Amazon's push into the future of commerce.
That's right. We're looking at their, well, incredibly aggressive automation strategy.
Yeah.
It's more than just tinkering. It's a full-scale transformation.
Yeah, using like cutting-edge robotics and AI to completely reshape their global logistics network.
Exactly. We've dug into the sources, and the goal here is ambitious doesn't quite cover it. They want unmatched efficiency, huge cost cuts, and delivery speeds that honestly change everything.
And the headline number, the long-term vision they've stated, is automating up to 75% of their fulfillment operations. Just think about that.
75%. I mean, it really does make you pause. When you consider global logistics, that level of automation, it's a massive competitive advantage.
Speed and cost, clearly the drivers.
Absolutely. But, it immediately brings up that tension, the human side of the equation.
Right. And that's the big unavoidable question here. If they actually get close to that 75% target, sources suggest internal forecasts point to potentially displacing, what was it, 600,000 warehouse roles?
As many as 600,000 by 2030, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the number floating around internally, reportedly. It's a huge potential shift in the workforce.
It is. And Amazon's response, their positioning, is quite interesting.
It is. They're very much framing it as an evolution of labor, not just elimination. The argument is, okay, robots take over the strenuous, repetitive stuff.
The back-breaking work, essentially.
Exactly. And in their place, you create these new, higher-skilled jobs for people, roles focused on maintaining the robots, programming them, troubleshooting.
So less lifting boxes, more managing complex systems, like moving from the warehouse floor to maybe a control room type setting?
Sort of. Less manual labor, more technical oversight. Think coding, sensor checks, optimizing algorithms. But let's be clear, the main drivers are still those massive cost savings and, importantly, the ability to scale globally without relying so much on a, well, sometimes volatile human workforce.
Yeah, you don't need to negotiate shifts with a robot, right?
Precisely. And the consistency, the 24/7 operation.
Yeah.
That's pure gold in logistics. It's fundamentally about economics, scalability, and operational resilience.
Okay, let's zoom in then. Let's talk about the actual hardware, the robots themselves. The sources are saying Amazon already has over 1 million robots deployed. 1 million.
Yeah, over 1 million worldwide. This isn't some small pilot program. It's a full-scale global deployment. And these aren't just the older Kiva robots, the ones that brought shells to people.
Right, these are more advanced.
Much more. They're integrating machine learning directly into how the robots move, allowing them to collaborate, to dynamically restructure the warehouse layout in real time.
Okay, so let's get specific. They have these name systems, almost like characters. Let's start with Sequoia. What's its job?
Sequoia is all about inventory storage, but smarter. It uses AI and mobile robots together to consolidate items, store them way faster, like up to 75% faster than older methods.
Faster storage, okay.
But the really clever bit isn't just speed, it's strategic positioning. The AI tells Sequoia where to put things based on predicted demand. So
Okay.
it's physically moving products closer to where it thinks customers will order them from.
Wow, okay, so the product's basically halfway to the customer before they even click buy. That's a serious edge.
I found that.
But then there's Vulcan. This one sounds particularly interesting because it tackles a really tricky robotics problem,
Yeah.
actually grasping different things.
Right. Vulcan is a picking robot, and this is where the challenge really ramps up. Picking identical items off an assembly line. Relatively simple for a robot.
Yeah, repetitive.
But e-commerce means picking, I don't know, a soft toy 1 second and then a fragile glass the next. Vulcan uses advanced force feedback sensors. It literally has a sense of touch.
A sense of touch. How does that work? Why is that such a big deal?
Well, think about traditional robot grippers. They often use brute force or simple suction. That doesn't work well if an item is easily crushed or slippery or has an odd shape. They drop things or damage them.
Okay, I see.
Vulcan sensors constantly measure the pressure. It creates a feedback loop, object, grip, movement. It can feel if something's about to slip or if it's gripping too hard.
So it can adjust on the fly.
Exactly. It can handle that huge variety of items, even fragile ones, without needing a human to step in. That capability, that's really key to reaching that big 75% automation goal.
Makes sense. More efficient, less damage, and safer for the people still working there too, presumably.
Yes, absolutely. Reduces strenuous lifting and reaching.
And then there are these other specialist robots, like Blue Jay and Tipper. What are they doing?
Yeah, they focus on specific bottlenecks in the delivery flow. Tipper deals with intake. It automatically unloads carts onto conveyors.
Yeah.
That's a really physical, repetitive job it takes over.
Okay.
And Blue Jay works further down the line, coordinating packages in the same-day delivery hubs. Think of it like an automated traffic cop, keeping things flowing smoothly just before packages head out for final delivery.
Gotcha. So that's the muscle, the physical side. But the robots are only as good as the intelligence directing them, right? Let's shift to the AI. How is it optimizing everything?
Precisely. The AI is the brain. It starts with prediction. Their foundational AI models chew through massive amounts of historical sales data, but that's just the start.
What else goes in?
They layer in all sorts of environmental factors. We're talking hyperlocal weather forecasts, regional economic trends, even things like social media buzz potentially indicating demand shifts.
And this actually improves the forecasts. By how much?
They're reporting accuracy improvements of up to 20%. Now, in a global operation, 20% isn't just a small tweak.
Wow, that's huge.
It's a massive competitive advantage. It cuts down on waste from overstocking, prevents running out of popular items, and crucially, it tells Sequoia where to position that inventory regionally. It ensures the product is nearby before you even think about buying it.
Okay, that handles the warehouse side. But what about the infamous last mile? That final delivery step is always the trickiest, most expensive part. How's AI helping there? Especially with, confusing apartment buildings or rural addresses.
Yes, that's where generative AI mapping comes in. They have a system called Wellspring, tackling this specific problem.
Wellspring. Okay.
Traditional GPS often fails in those complex scenarios, right? Finding the right loading dock or navigating a huge apartment complex where Building E is hidden around back.
Yeah, we've all been there, waiting for a package. So how does Wellspring, the generative part, work differently?
It pulls together tons of different data, satellite images, street view data, notes from past delivery attempts, maybe even building plans if available. It uses generative AI not just to read existing maps, but to essentially create the perfect, hyper-specific route instruction for that exact tricky delivery.
So it's generating a custom map layer on the fly.
Kind of, yeah. It can pinpoint the exact drop-off spot, maybe include gate codes, specify which entrance to use, things standard GPS just doesn't have. The result is faster routes and way fewer failed term delivery attempts.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But managing 1 million robots, coordinating all that, sounds like an absolute nightmare from a programming perspective. How do they make that workable for the operators?
That's a really critical operational point. Imagine if every tiny change needed engineers writing complex code for every single robot. It'd be impossible. This is where agentic AI comes in.
Agentic AI, what does that do?
Think of it as a super smart translator. It allows the human operators to talk to the robots, essentially using natural language.
So like plain English commands.
Exactly. An operator doesn't need to be a coding expert. They can just say, hey, pick everything in the yellow bin and take it to station 4.
And the AI understands that.
Yes. The agentic AI translates that simple command into all the complex code needed to coordinate the robots involved to actually perform the task. It makes deploying changes much faster and shifts the human role to supervision and quick decision-making, not deep coding.
Right. Overseeing the system, not manually controlling every piece.
Precisely.
So you've got these super fast, smart robots guided by predictive AI for efficiency. Stepping back, how does all of this automation change Amazon's overall physical network, their strategy?
Well, this level of automation is what enables a huge strategic shift. They're moving away from those old, massive, centralized national fulfillment centers that relied heavily on long-distance trucking.
Okay, away from the giant warehouses. To what?
Towards a network of smaller, highly regionalized, highly automated hubs. Think of them as self-sufficient local centers.
Huh. But wouldn't having more smaller centers be riskier, more expensive in terms of real estate and needing backups?
That's the calculus, right? The sources suggest the gamble is that the massive gains in speed and resilience outweigh the initial capital cost. And for you, the customer, the benefit is clear. Products are stored much closer to you.
Which means faster delivery, same day, overnight becomes standard.
Exactly. That's the benchmark now. And secondarily, but still crucially, this regional model dramatically cuts down on transportation costs. Less long-haul trucking means less fuel, lower costs, and a smaller carbon footprint too. It's a win-win strategically.
So it feeds itself. The AI predicts local demand, the robots place products in the efficient regional hub, and the automated system gets it to the customers super fast with lower transport costs.
You got it. They're not just making small improvements anymore. They're building this incredibly optimized, extremely capital-intensive system. And it's explicitly designed to set a completely new standard for the entire industry globally. Speed, efficiency, scale.
Everyone else now has to try and match that.
Pretty much. From big retailers to small online sellers, this is the new bar.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. The big picture here is Amazon fundamentally changing logistics. Human effort isn't about the physical lifting and moving anymore. It's shifting towards managing the machines, programming the AI, overseeing the whole complex operation.
Right. It's a strategic redirection of human intelligence within the system, from physical tasks to system oversight and optimization.
But the crucial takeaway, maybe the barrier, is the cost.
Absolutely. This whole system requires just enormous upfront capital. Billions for the robots, the AI development, the network of regional hubs. It's not just about having smart ideas, it's about having incredibly deep pockets to fund this new operational paradigm.
Which brings us to our final thought, something for you, the listener, to consider. If this is the new standard, defined by billions in automation investment, how can smaller companies, firms without that kind of capital, possibly keep up?
Yeah, what happens when the price of admission to truly competitive modern logistics is this massive technological and financial wall?
That might be the biggest long-term question stemming from all this.
It really could be.
Mhm.
Amazon isn't just automating warehouses. They might be making the old way of doing logistics completely uncompetitive for anyone who can't make similar massive investments.
A lot to think about. Thanks for diving in with us today.
See you next time.